Stats SA has announced that the rate of unemployment increased to 27.6% in the first quarter of 2019. That's up 0.5 percentage points from the fourth quarter of 2018. Stats SA says a decline in employment was seen in all sectors. A total of 237,000 people lost their jobs during the first quarter of this year. The construction sector lost the most jobs, 142,000, while the least job losses were shared in the manufacturing sector, that is some 14,000 jobs. The number of discouraged work seekers increased by 156,000. Economists had predicted that unemployment would increase during this period owing to slow economic growth and rampant load shedding seen in the first quarter. Well, for more on this story, we now are joined in studio by Thandeka Gqubule-Mbeki. She's our economics editor here at the SABC. Thanks very much for joining us. Obviously, this is extremely bad news. Unemployment rebounding yet again. It's all a structural issue story, isn't it?
Yes, we are the bearers of bad news today, Nombu. But this has been a trend that has been strengthening as we have been watching quarter upon quarter since somewhere beginning 2 years ago. And this trend has strengthened and it's showing increasing levels of unemployment. This is a structural problem, as you have said. The macroeconomic policies and the failure to restructure this economy fundamentally and push it into a production mode where we consume less and produce more. The failure of our economic policymakers to do this has led to these kind of figures. Let me show you just how critical policy is. At the height of the global financial crash, unemployment in America tipped into double digits, round about 10%. Then there was a decision between Obama and the U.S. Federal Reserve, the Central Bank of the United States, to introduce lower interest rates in order to allow the economy to create more jobs. Instead, here in South Africa, there's been an ideologically laden argument that interest rates do not have anything to do with employment levels. Well, many economists beg to differ, and many research papers have been published showing that the productive sector benefits when interest rates are somewhat lower. Because as you can imagine, if you lower the cost of capital somewhat, businesses are able then to expand and to hire more people, and then the economy is rendered more absorptive.
Yes. What about on the fiscal side? Now we've got a new government coming in. Instead of them playing the same old record, what is it that they can be doing to try and actually do something on the fiscal side to boost the economy and jobs?
You need growth to boost the economy on the fiscal side. That stimulus package needs to be substantially enlarged so that it can really be a mechanism through which this country stimulates growth. And once growth is stimulated and you have higher GDP numbers and greater transactions and the exchange of services and goods in the economy is boosted, then you will have the ability to actually create jobs.
But of course we're hamstrung, aren't we? Because our fiscal position as South Africa is a nightmare.
Austerity.
And of course there's austerity, but of course we have the state-owned companies which are in dire straits, Eskom being one of them. They had asked for 100 billion rand over 3 years. They only got 23 billion per year, and they still want more. And it seems as though government is looking to give them more, although that hasn't been disclosed yet. So those kind of factors are also hampering government's ability to spend in the right places.
Yes, government's ability to spend has been severely constrained by the factors that you are mentioning. And the private sector is also sitting on a lot of money that can be spent in the economy. We need to find a way of bringing détente between the private sector and the public sector and creating the circumstances whereby both sectors can begin to spend significantly more and in strategic areas where employment can be created.
Of course, the bogeyman in this room, when you talk about the private sector, is the issue of policy certainty. You know, there's always that, or policy uncertainty. Do you get the feeling that we're going to get to a position of policy certainty so that people can begin to put their money where their mouth is?
I think we're going to see more policy certainty in the new administration, but perhaps it wasn't just policy certainty, but the politics of our country over the last 10 years that have dogged the economy and created a lot of lack of confidence in the system.
Okay, Thandeka, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your insights. That was Thandeka Gqubule-Mbeki. She's the economics editor here at the SABC, just giving her insights on the latest unemployment number.